2K Sports pregame show, sponsored by Kia.
Hello, everybody. Glad you could join us here on 2K Sports. I'm your host, Ernie Johnson. Next to me, Kenny the Jet Smith and Dr. Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight, it'll be the Portland Trailblazers up against the Denver Nuggets at Pepsi Center. Well, for Denver, they struggled in this matchup last season. Only one win for them through 4 games. They'd like to make a statement tonight. Terry Stotts, in his 3rd stop as a head coach, now with the Blazers, he's become one of the great offensive minds in the NBA over the years.
Excuse me, Ernie, I was sipping on some of that strawberry-flavored Shaq soda.
Okay.
But he has designed offense for a championship team, the Mavs in 2-11. They use a lot of Icy Hot products. I said to myself, man up, Mavs.
Well, is this a personal endorsement for Shaquille O'Neal?
Well, no, but I can clear it through the game.
Okay, well, shout out to 2K.
And Joel.
Okay. Well, you know, I think the one thing about Stotts is he's drawing from the guys that he's worked for or worked with. George Karl, Rick Alderman, Rick Carlisle, all have great offensive philosophies and different, and he's drawing from that.
Yeah, he has. Kevin Harlan, I don't think you're promoting anything, but take it away.
Jack for radio, listen.
Welcome, everyone, to the NBA on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Brent Barry and Greg Anthony. We've got David Aldridge reporting from the sideline. For the Denver Nuggets, they come in off that loss to the Pelicans at New Orleans Arena. And, guys, they were in that one to the very end. They just couldn't put it together in the last few minutes. They lost by just 2 points.
Yeah, their defense got sliced and diced in that game. They just weren't closing down on perimeter shooters, not nearly quick enough, and then they gave up their fair share of those point-blank shots on the interior as well.
And maybe you can get away with defending one of those areas weakly, but if you're too soft on the inside and slow to react and close out on the perimeter game, that's not a game you're going to win.
And as we've got a few moments here before the tip, let's go to the Hall of Famer David Aldridge, who had a chance to speak with Mike Malone. Dave, what'd you find out?
Well, guys, he told me they're up against a team that really finishes strong at the rim, and he wanted to get that point across to his players. He wants them to protect the rim with every bit of energy they've got throughout this entire contest. Let's see if they're up to it, Kevin.
Thank you, David. Brent, just how long do you give yourself as a team before you start planning ahead, looking to next year?
Well, I think general managers, or at least the smart ones, Kevin, are always doing that. And not just next year. They're looking to 2 or 3 seasons from now, setting themselves up with cap space, player room, and player movement. Even trades enter the picture. So it's an ongoing process.
Denver with a platoon swap here on the floor. An almost entirely new group here for Portland. Azili's checked in for Yusuf Nurkic. Aminu comes in for Noah Vonleh. Turner's checked in for Harkless. And Krabs subbed in for Damian Lillard. On the floor for Portland, C.J. McCollum out there with Crab. Then it's Turner.
There we go. You like that?
Then there's Festus Ezeli. And it's Aminu in at the 4 slot.
And really the defense fouling there to prevent the layup, but that's exactly what you need to do.
And this Blazers team, although dynamic offensively, defense is where they have the most room to improve. Don't get me wrong. They weren't awful there, but that's got to be a little bit more of their focus. Well, Allen Crabbe was a go-to scorer at Cal, but I remember a scout saying that he plays defense in a tuxedo. I'm not sure if that was meant as a compliment. Crabbe is making some major strides on the defensive end, though, and with continued minutes, we've seen continued confidence, a good 3-and-D type player who's still emerging.
Good ball movement here by the Nuggets. Chandler kicks to Prez. The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. 1 free throw coming his way. And for Prez, who wanted so badly to win it all in college, it was a big letdown to lose in the title game. He did all he could, but it just wasn't enough to cut down the nets.
Yeah, but when you look at a guy like Prez, you see someone who uses coming in second as motivation. Sure, he came up short in college, but he's doing everything he can to make sure he gets some hardware in the NBA.
And in his debut, Prez wasn't able to lead his team to a win, but he certainly hushed some doubters with his play on the court. Great debut for him.
And the wins will come for him and this team if he's able to play like that every time out. The ceiling is so high on this kid, and Prez looks like he can be a star.
You want to talk about a team just destroying it in the NBA draft? This front office deserves a round of applause with their selections of Prez and Justice Young.
Kevin, great point. Not only did they get two good players in the draft, but they got two good players that work perfectly together. You can see the chemistry there already, and I think they have a bright future as a tandem.
It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. The shot by Turner no good. The Nuggets trail by 6. Inside, here's Cage, and look at Prez there just punishing the rim.
Oh, and you love the ferocity that Prez finished that playoff with. No layups for the big fella.
Now here's McCollum. 14 points from him the last game against the Clippers. Pass to Crabbe. Aminu with a screen on Barton.
The ability to drain it from beyond the arc with that smooth, clean release. Crabbe clearly helping out the team there.
A free-flowing first quarter. Great scoring through 1. Trailblazers lead by 7. From the Pepsi Center in downtown Denver, we're back in a moment. All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. What's the big group substitution here for Denver? Prez is checked in for Plumlee. Will Barton comes in for Wilson Chandler. Harris is checked in for Murray. Young is subbed in for Levin. Portland also making some changes. Nurkic checked in for Festus Ezeli. Vonleh comes in for Evan Turner. And it's C.J. McCollum in for Lillard. On the court right now for the Trailblazers. Al-Farouq Aminu is out there with Vonleh. Then it's Alan Crabbe. Then there's C.J. McCollum. And it's Nurkic in at the 5. Nurkic a screen on Young. McCollum passes to Nurkic. And it's going to be a goaltending call here, so they'll count the bucket.
Yeah, you got to like the aggressive D going for the block, but he got it just as it was on its way down.
When you see Nurkic out there, as skilled as he is, still the thing that baffles you is his size. A legit 7-footer. He weighs 280, depending on what he had for dinner. But he's got great skill, and they're still exploring it in Denver.
And that's going to be a treble. And a chance to now check out the scoring distribution between the front court and the back court players tonight for the Trailblazers.
And it's been guard play, which really has shouldered the burden offensively here. They'd like a bit more production from the front court, but in the meantime, this backcourt has kept them in the game.
Portland leading by 9. And thinking about Nurkic and his size, Brent, he definitely doesn't fit the spot-up Euro big man profile we've seen.
No, he's one of those guys who enjoys the contact, and anytime he can get it, he'll be in there. Can spot up with the jump shot if he needs that. He likes to throw his weight around on the inside, and he does. He makes the most of his size.
And that's how you answer. I'd say he just one-upped him. Pretty good one there.
These two guys really, really like going at each other, don't they? Crabbe in the corner. Now, here's Vonleh. Jokic defending. 5 on the clock. Feeds it to Crabbe. A 3 ball. And another 3 for Portland.
Pretty much poor defensive effort there. You have to get a hand in his face when he's spotting up from distance.
And stolen by Vonleh. McCollum against Young. McCollum kicks to Aminu. 11 seconds left in the first half. 6 to shoot. An easy layup after coming off the pick. Aminu's got his first points in this one.
That's a great look for Aminu, who has the athleticism and long arms to do damage inside.
And we've finished one half of basketball. Portland out in front, leading by 14. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter.
All
right, come on, guys. Shake it off. These guys are...
And as we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a different look now for Portland. Al-Farouq Aminu, he's checked in for Vonleh. Turner comes in for Harkless, and Krabs subbed in for Lillard. Cage, he's in at the 4 spot. Will Barton is out there with Murray. Then it's Wilson Chandler, and it's Plumlee in at the center position. That's the group in the game for the Nuggets.
Refs, do your job,
And the leaping skills of Prez, really just throwing down the monster dunk there.
Third quarter here, and 3 minutes have come off the clock. Screen by Nurkic.
Hey, I thought Aminu.
McCollum right side. Sweet move, and he sinks the layup. McCollum's got 21 in the game.
Man, his shot on target, guys. They have the lead right now, primarily because of his effort.
Brent, we always hear about the guard positions being a point guard and a shooting guard, but do you feel as if those distinctions now are blending and we're not seeing the designation as much?
It has become more of a positionless game, Kevin, and I think what's happened is the offenses in the league are starting to recognize the skill set of some of the players who are coming out of not only high school but college and using them in various ways where you don't need to specifically be a power forward or a back-to-the-basket player. Those just don't exist anymore.
Young's checked in for Denver. Festus Ezeli, he's checked in for the Trailblazers. Here's Barton, and Barton throws it down.
Whoa, you got to watch out when Barton leaves the floor, throwing the hammer down there.
1:14 left in the third quarter. Portland leading by 21. McCollum kicks to Crab. It's deflected. Young against McCollum. Prez dishes to Plumlee. And stolen by Crab. And now Portland on the break. Here's Aminu, and the layup's good off the glass. Aminu's got his second basket.
Well, there you go. One team operating on all cylinders at both ends. Steals, fast break buckets, and the other team in scramble mode.
And Young kicks to Plumlee. Barton, wide open, he fires. Barton missing again. Portland's gone 2 of 2 from long range in the third quarter so far. Down low, knocks it loose. And it's out of bounds to Portland. They'll retain possession. A different look for Denver. Jokic comes in for Prez. Portland's gone 2 for 2 from three-point land to start the fourth quarter. On the floor for Portland, Lillard and McCollum, the explosive backcourt pair. Harkless is out there with Festus Ezeli, and it's Nurkic in at the pivot spot manning the middle. And it's blocked by Cage.
Love the intensity. Prez making his presence felt with his powerful shot blocking ability.
And the first one drops. And you remember last season the Blazers had to sit C.J. McCollum out of game due to a clerical error. You don't see that happen too often.
Yeah, that was one of those I wish we could take it back moments for the Blazer coaching staff. The team's second leading scorer at that point. I'm just glad he had a sport coat.
You look at the elite players in the NBA, a much more tight-knit bunch than maybe in decades past, Brent. Not as much animosity as we used to see between players on different teams. Do you agree with that? And maybe more importantly, why is it different now than it was then?
We always talk about the AAU programs and what it is that these elite players are offered up in terms of their early stages of development, Kevin. When you're in 6th grade and you know somebody from D.C. is friends with somebody in Oakland because they get to see one another throughout the course of the AAU programs over the summer and where these tournaments are held, it's understandable that the elite players in the NBA are going to have relationships that exist before they get there. So I don't have any problem with it whatsoever.
Napier kicks to Connaughton. Here's Nurkic. Oh, and he plucks it off the glass. Wow. And it's out of bounds to Portland. They'll retain possession. So it's Portland now. And here's Aminu. Shot clock at 5. Connaughton passes to Leonard. Takes the 3. Aminu with the bucket.
And they clearly are just destroying this group right now from the three-point line.
Well, they've been on a roll ever since the break. Doesn't seem to matter whether the shots are open or there's a hand in the face.
He kicks it to Napier. Good ball movement here by the Trailblazers. Pass to Connaughton. He dishes it to Nurkic. Shot from 12. Bounces high off the rim and drops.
And one team is just completely outclassing the other tonight. Spirited performance, and it really ignited what is turning out to be a monster win here for the Trailblazers.
This was a team performing to its fullest capability.
A hugely satisfying win. A game that not many will soon forget. And on the other side, one that I think most will try to forget.
And every win important. And this one will go down as win number 3.
They can chalk this one up, but these two teams will see plenty more of one another before the season's over. A fantastic show. And what an amazing all-around game it was for Damian Lillard.
What a great teammate tonight with all of those assists. Such an unselfish player and always looking to be the creator and making one phenomenal pass after another.
And they've just done a great job of keeping this crowd out of the game. And we're getting closer to victory. The crowd's getting quieter.
And that's the thing. When you go on the road, two things can happen. Either the environment can affect you or you can affect the environment. They chose the latter.
Here's Cage. Shakes off the strong D and gets to the bucket for 2.
And they're on the kind of run that could have made a difference had it just started a little earlier.
Yeah, it feels like this one's in the books. The only opportunity left is to try and fix some issues that were exposed tonight.
Here's Napier. And so Portland takes this one, but by a big margin. This crowd was stunned by the manner in which their team was dismantled.
You know what? Shocking. I don't care what the matchup is. You never expect a road team to come in and just cruise to the kind of win they did tonight.
And that about wraps it up. So for David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, Brent Barry, and the whole 2K Sports crew, this is Kevin Harlan thanking you for being with us. See you later.